Hey guys, it's James and we're back for round 18 bets and we've had our second week in a row. I can't remember if this is our biggest loss for like the week, for the year or something, but we're back below $1,000, which is super annoying because, you do so many things right and you go through all the selections, really think about it, and then you just have like a shit week. Well, we've had two shit weeks in a row, so we're really hoping to, turn that around. And I figured we'll get straight into it. What I'm going to do this week, my whole thing for pretty much most of the year has been finding a nice $3.50 leg, same game multi for each game. And I don't include the result. But because we've had just two shit weeks in a row, I figured let's just try and change that a little bit. So I've gone through this in an earlier video. I think it was like round 7. This is how many bets you need to win for the round of a normal 9-game round, and that's what we've got until round 24. And I liked $3 because out of every bet I do, if I do one bet on every game for the same value, I only need to win 3 bets to break even. And most likely, with all the brokers or bookies, whatever you're using, will have a bonus bet offer. So if you fail one bet by one leg, you can often use that for your next one. And more often than not, if you're winning at least 3, the bonus bets can make you positive. So $3, I back myself in to win at least 3 bets for the week, and the bonus bet here or there will usually make me positive. That's why we've been able to do so well this year. But I think we only won 1 bet last week, and it's like I had plenty of players who had hit in their last 10 out of 10 games miss, 9 out of 10 miss, and it's like sometimes you just can't help it. I can't help like a couple of the players that were just like coming to mind, like Tom Atkins, 10 out of 10, just missed, got 11. I'll get into it as well later. I stupidly had Liam Baker, who was 10 out of 10, easy to hit 15. He just missed in the Freo game. Anyway, we'll go through it. But what I'm choosing to do this week, if we're going to try and win more bets, we're going to have to decrease our odds we're selecting. So I'm thinking for this week, I'm going to try $2.50. That will hopefully stop me picking an extra leg or trying to get the extra value. We're trying to reduce the risk, but we're knowing we have to win 1 more game. So we have to win 4 games this week to break even. Most likely, a bonus bet will be thrown in here or there, but we're just going to try and just tone it down a little bit, not drastically, but enough so we're just 1 more game and we're not having to go 5 games. Because I think like when you're at like $2 and stuff, when you're having to win more than every second game, it's every second game, it's I don't know. I love $3, but the last couple of weeks has just been shitting me off. So hopefully that'll refine our selections and we can go from there. But yeah, anyway, so that's what I'm going to be betting this week. We'll go into our bets soon, but for the meantime, we may as well go through the recap of who played and last week. But yeah, Collingwood, Essendon. This one was super annoying because Darcy Cameron looked home at halftime. I think he was on 8 disposals at halftime, and then unsided in the third. 3 quarters. In the third quarter, it was like 10-12 minutes on the bench, and I'm like, oh. Came on, got like 1 posi, that was in the bin. But Jono, who mentioned on the YouTube video last week, thank you so much for the comment, notified me that actually he had some busted ribs and was rushed to hospital after that game. But he's playing this week, so very annoying. I hope he's all right, but it's like, I hate betting on someone with an injury and someone who can. He did the same thing in the 4th quarter, was on the bench for like 10-12 minutes. So I don't want someone playing less than like, or around 50%. So in the second half, Darcy Cameron only played like 50% game time, and there's no chance he's going to get that. So very unlucky. Josh Dacos, again, he just got 20, but he's still good odds. If he's over $1.20 for 20 plus, I always like. Braden Maynard, I've been writing pretty much every year because, yeah, no, he's been fantastic. A backman who spoils, who can also get 15 posies, which is great. So yeah, it's just very unfortunate about the Darcy Cameron. And then when we tried to use that and the bonus bet into the next game, Alex Sexton, who hit like 8 out of 10, was in a great... Oh, I think he was a bit lower, actually. If I go to my thing from last week, and I have a look at what Alex Sexton was. I think he was probably our riskiest. Alex Sexton, yeah, he was 6 out of 10, but in his last 7, he hit 6 out of 7, and he missed by 1 posie. So he was in a great run of 2 months. But then again, he has an absolute stinker. Drops like, I think it was 15 posies, but he could have easily got like 11. Mac Andrew turned it around, which was fantastic. He had 2 weeks in a row where he missed. Darcy Tucker, I'm loving that role change where he's playing a half back. There's still no Zach Fisher at the moment. I even think, I'm not too sure when Zach Fisher comes in, because it's been, I'm pretty sure the role change for Darcy Tucker has been since Colby McKercher has been out, and now Zach Fisher's out, and both of them are just dominant ball users who will kick out and be the distributors from the back line. So this might be our last week where we can really back Darcy Tucker if we choose to. And then I just got to see where he's playing, because he has been on the wing for ages. And now to see him playing half back and he's getting a lot of the footy, it's great. But we just got to be careful with players like that who are playing somewhere different than they're used to. And Tristan Cherry's been amazing. I think he's only missed like, I don't know. It was a couple of times this year, and that was earlier in the year. I don't know, since like, his last couple of months have been fantastic for a ruckman, and still paying great too. Like, yeah, you can have your Max Gawn or Brodie Grundy, but they're always very short for 15. Cherry has been fantastic. So yeah, that just fucking sucked. We missed by 1 leg. We got too greedy. That was a $5 leg. We could have easily took Alex Sexton out, but I was confident he was going to hit in his 2-month form. Oh, and then you have people super reliable. Dan Houston, he was 9 out of 10 at the time. No, he was 8 out of 10, sorry. Averaging 22 posies against the doggies who just did not show up and just got absolutely pummeled by Port. He's one of the players that I wouldn't be concerned about there. It would be like Riley Sanders, but Riley Sanders looked great, had 20 posies. Bailey Dale, I should not have included him because I think he did get like 23 or something in the end, but he was looking like missing at halftime. Willem Drew has been great. Keep jumping on him if he's around $1.25, $1.30. Fantastic. He's one of those players like if he misses, I don't care. Like he does the same thing week in, week out. He's been great, playing on the wing, helping around, stoppages. So fantastic. Jack McRae, I'm jumping on the 15 posi bracket because the last couple of months has shown he is not reliable for 20 plus. And we all know that. We all know he's playing forward, so we can't really expect him to get 20. But his odds for 15 plus are creeping up, so which is good for us because it was usually like $1.01, or you couldn't even bet on him. Now he's $1.05, $1.10, $1.15. I think this week is his highest at like $1.15. And I'm not a fan of anything below $1.20, but for Jack McRae, I like that. This is the one super annoying. Tom Atkins was 10 out of 10, hadn't missed. Brad Close kicked a bag. We could have just bet more on him, but the annoying thing is I love Brad Close for 1 goal, but when he kicks 4 goals, then he becomes so short next week. Well, he's not that short. He's like $1.28, but if he creeps up in price, I'll back him again. But yeah, super annoying. Very unlucky, very unlucky. Or was, Tom Atkins, was this the game he missed the week before? So he's had 2, he was 10 out of 10. He missed this week. Oh, super annoying. Jeremy Cameron's been good. I stopped watching this game when Tom Atkins had like, I don't know, 3 posies at halftime. I had enough. I know Jeremy Cameron touched it a lot early. He had like 3 posies in 3 minutes or something. And then I was kind of surprised he only just hit. So anyway, no. Actually, no, he got 19. He was all right. But still can get the footy even if he's playing deep forward. There's still no Tom Hawkins, but I know Shannon Neal, was that his name? The big dude playing forward. So hopefully having another big guy there can just allow Jeremy Cameron to get more of the footy. All right, that was that. Giants versus Carlton. Oh yeah, so these are the bets that I'm including on the video. The tally is all the bets included on the video. And sometimes by the time game day comes, my bet will be slightly different. So I didn't actually bet this exact bet. I had something different. Either way, it lost. So this is the bet I provided on the video. Harry Perry. I still like Perryman, even though he got 11. He was, to miss by 4 posies in the 15 bracket is a lot. But he was playing where I wanted him to. He was calling for the ball. He was in positions like available, ready to receive. Just didn't get it. Brett Daniels, amazing. So 29 posies, I think it was. Absolutely starred. Nick Newman, I still like. He looked good to hit 20. Just fell a bit short, so I still like him. Mitch McGovern, I think he's injured this week and might be playing with, you know, that slight niggle in his ribs. So I might be holding off Mitch McGovern for a bit. It's the same thing as, or Cameron. I don't want Darcy Cameron. I don't want to be betting on someone who I'm worried is going to be injured or taken off or subbed or sit on the bench. I'm pretty sure this game, didn't he sit on the bench for like another 10, 12 minutes? Like, you can't have that. If that happens, like, the bet's pretty much done. It doesn't matter if these guys all hit, because someone who's sitting on the bench for that long, it's so hard to come back. I think that's only happened once, well, that I can remember off the top of my head, and that was Maynard, where he got hit in the back of the head from Sam Darcy. He was out doing the concussion protocol thing, came back on and killed it. He had one posi in the first quarter, but yeah, it's very rare. If someone's sitting on the bench for almost a quarter, you can just write that bet off. Next one, Freo Richmond. This one got up, but my own bet, which I'll show here, I got fucking greedy and included Liam Baker. Liam Baker was 10 out of 10. I was like, yeah, I just wanted a little bit over $3, but this is what I mean. This is why I'm bringing it back to this, and I want to do $2.50 to stop myself from doing this. So the bet I included here on stream for the video was great, but I got a little bit too greedy. Very unfortunate, but yeah, Michael Frederick kicked a goal. Brayshaw had 30 plus, was great. Daniel Rioli, he has been great value all year. So, and Vlosten, I like Vlosten, even though his misses are like by one posi, but Daniel Rioli just gets so much of the footy. And when Richmond are not playing great, the ball's in their backline a lot anyway. So to include Rioli and Vlosten, I don't mind doubling up in Richmond's backline there. So yeah, we had one that got up. Our Sunday game, oh, I'm so sick of Tom Sparrow. He'll have a good quarter, and then I don't see him for an hour. Super frustrating, and he's like 7 out of 10 in his recent form. So it just feels like every time I bet on him, if that's his game, that's the game he's missing. So Neil Bullen, fantastic, getting so much footy. He's trying super hard. I know Melbourne probably won't make the finals this year, but he's looking great. Jeremy McGovern got injured, finished with 15, so I was a bit more bullish that the ball would be in his backline a bit more. And Witherden, he has those games where he gets like 12 posies. He'll probably bounce back. He averages more than 15. His form is always like 7 or 8 out of 10. So he always has those misses. I just can't help it with Witherden. But yeah, I tell you what, Sparrow, whatever. Hayden McLean, he will play forward line. He's also the relieving ruckman. His recent form, I think he's only kicked he's kicked out of 4 games. He's kicked goals in 1 of them. And so I'm not a huge fan of his recent form. Before that, he was great because, you know, you got Joel Amarty, Logan McDonald, you got Tom Papley, Will Hayward. You got a bunch of goal kickers before Hayden McLean, and he always had a scoring shot, except in like 2 games. But now his recent form is changing that, so we'll have to change our opinion to follow. Wangan Malira, fantastic halfback, or taking kickouts as well for St Kilda. And Hunter Clark did hit after missing the week before. St Kilda got the win. Like, what the fuck? Darcy Wilmot. Oh, yeah. So, Darcy Wilmot, I still like for 20, but he was playing on Isaac Rankine after Starcevic got knocked out by the Dirty Dog. Anyway. So, which also, if you guys watch my videos, you guys know I'm pretty bullish on Jasper Fletcher. So I had another bet with Jasper Fletcher in it because I wasn't sure if he was going to be subbed. He wasn't named sub, so I'm like, yep, fuck yeah, get Fletcher in. Fletcher was on 10 posies at halftime, finished with 14. Because when Starcevic went down, Fletcher was playing in the back line out of position, so if that, like, you just can't plan for that. That is just so unlucky. And Darcy Wilmot, I reckon, would have had 20 if he didn't have to play on Rankin so much later in the second half. So, Michael, I always say McInerney. Michael Aney. I have to stop, read it. And Luke Nankervis was great. But again, he was a bit quiet in the second half. Thank God he had an amazing first quarter. And yeah, I still like Wilmot, so that's just unlucky. Someone gets injured and there's a bunch of positional changes on the field. we had just such an unlucky week. We had a bunch of consistent players missing, had some injury problems, and I'm not even saying it's Darcy Wilmot's injury. It's, you know, we had Darcy Cameron, and then we had Starcevic, and then that required a whole change. And it's like, you get so unlucky. But anyway, let's try our new strategy for this week, which I'll remind you, I reckon we're going for $2.40. Yes, we have to win one extra game, but I'm just hoping that stops. That'll minimize our legs, because a lot of these bets this week were lost by one leg. Super annoying. So it'll hopefully stop me getting greedy as well, because we've got this profit. We're playing with house money, and I don't want to throw that away now. We're in the last couple of weeks. So form guide, let's go to the Geelong Collingwood game, which is on tonight. So again, keeping that approach, you know, we're aiming for like $2.50, in between $2.50 and $3. Zach Guthrie, 9 out of 10. Sometimes does worry me when I think, again, I'm going off memory. I think he was on like 1 or 2 posies in the first quarter, but then came back in the second. So he can have quiet quarters. Try not to worry, because he can also have 7, 8 posie quarters. I haven't included Jeremy Cameron, even though I do like Jeremy Cameron. But again, we're trying to pick and choose here, which I'm trying to pick one good player I like from 15 posie bracket, and it's Zach Guthrie, averaging 18.3, $1.30, 9 out of 10. I really like his value there. So he's averaging like a posie and a half more than Cameron, which is probably that selling factor. And then Max Holmes, he's gone to $1.25. He was like $1.10, I don't know, early this morning, $1.11. He's $1.25 now, which is great. That was his first miss the whole year for 20 plus. He's been great. Yes, I know he's playing in the back line now. Well, he played on the back line for the most of the year. He just went into the midfield rotations for, I don't know, maybe it was like a month or so. He's in the back line. I still think he can get 20 posies comfortably, averaging 26. I know that's a bit distorted because it's got some midfield minutes in there, but I still like him for 20. And Lachie Schultz. Lachie Schultz has had a scoring shot in every game this year. I'm pretty sure. I had these stats. I forgot to write it down, but I'm pretty sure Lachie Schultz has had a scoring shot in every game this year, whether he's kicked a point or 2 points, a goal and a point, whatever. He's 9 out of 10. He always has a chance to kick something, kick a score. So that's all we need. And he's averaging 1.6 goals a game. All we need is that chance that he's going to take the shot, or there's going to be an opportunity pop up. So I really like that in the goal scorer for that odds. Usually I would go Brad Close, but you can see he's just a little bit shorter just because of that 4-goal game last week. So if we include those three, we get $2.70, which again, we're shorting. If you missed the recap, our odds for this week are a little bit shorter because we are going with this. Just a little friendly reminder for anyone who skipped the first bit. $2.50, 4 games a week. All right, let's go back. I brushed over the other categories. I do like Josh Dacos. The last 3 weeks, he's getting on just 20. I mean, I would kind of like a little bit more of a buffer, but it's very consistent. And I like those players who have a short range. I don't like people who will hit 40 posies 1 week, 14 the next. Dane Zorko. But Nick Dacos is actually good value for 25. So he's averaging like 7.5 more posies than what you need. 10 out of 10. This is not including his sub game. I think it was against Melbourne. But I've also included 30 plus for Nick Dacos, which I like. Now look, if I was back at my, if we had a good week last week and we were trying to do our $3 to $3.50 odds, I think I would put Dacos in instead of like Max Holmes or Zach. I don't know, but I really like Dacos and Mark O'Connor. I don't think Geelong have a tagger for tonight. I know Blicavs sometimes tags, but is he not playing in the ruck or something tonight? So I'm lineups. Yeah, Mark Blicavs is listed on the ruck. They don't have O'Connor. I don't know if they have another tagger, so I like Dacos there for 30 plus. Just saying, but otherwise we're going with my bet for now. Tyson Stengel missed a goal last week, and he's averaging 2 a game. He's been in great form. I have highlighted, a bit too short, but just to note that one there. All right, next game, game 2. So let's scroll down. Also on Freo, which is, I mean, I would have thought Freo would have won this in the bag had this in the bag earlier, but Hawthorn's recent form has been amazing. So Hawthorn Freo, who have we picked? Sam Sturt for goal, Caleb Sarong 25, James Sicily 20, Connor Nash 15. 4 legs for $2.50. Look, I don't like, but I like the security of those players. I like Caleb Sarong. I like a James Sicily, Connor Nash. I like the players who are very consistent. Sam Sturt, again, is one of those players who has always had a scoring shot. He's only had six games this year. Let me go straight down to him. Sam Sturt, but he missed last week, so I'm happy to jump on. Averaging 2 goals a year. He was my last pick out of the others. So to be fair, I picked Sarong, Sicily, Connor Nash, and I just needed just that extra little bit to get to $2.50. And look, you probably could pick Jack Scrimshaw, Corey Wagner, but I feel like Freo, a goal scorer, I would like that more, especially when you've got Jai Amiss and Josh Tracy in the forward line too. I love a goal scorer who's behind like the big boys, because you get better value. Sorry, I'm scrolling around all over the place. Let's go back to 15 posies. Jager O'Meara missed last week, which I like, sort of playing on the wing there for Freo, but it's a Tassie. Against Hawthorn are in great form. I always hate sort of backing a player who's going up against a team in great form. So, except, we've got Caleb Sarong. Caleb Sarong, okay, let me jump down to 25 plus. That's the best value he's been all year, I think, for 25 plus. He's over $1.20. I feel like that'll get shorter. Usually the odds kind of grow a bit before game day. Some will get shorter, but there's a lot of value sometimes, like a couple of hours before the game. I do like Brayshaw, love Brayshaw. He had 32, but I think just Sarong, who's averaging like 30 posies, 9 out of 10 for $1.20, I think he was my first selection. James Sicily is coming back. Again, he had a very quiet start to the year, but I don't know, since round 4 or 5, he's been back on track. Because last year, he was the leading possession getter for Hawthorn. So I was very bullish on him early. Took a bit of a break. Now he's back into form, so I'm happy to ride it with him. Anyone else? Jai Newcomb missed, but again, it was against Geelong at GMHBA. So, look, I think he'll play better this week in Tassie. Hayden Young as well, been in great form, had a great year. There's not like much value here. Michael Frederick, we got last week. If you want to ride him again, go for it. But I don't need him at this stage. I prefer the ball getters. And then if I want, in my opinion, a more reliable goal scorer, averaging almost 2 a game, I'll go Sam Sturt. Yeah, so that's the Hawthorn Freo game. We'll keep moving. What do we have next? So Sydney North. Hopefully this is a really good game. Thinking of like not watching as much footy this weekend. It's the last 2 weeks, like I've watched so much footy, and for all the bets to fall short, I'm like, I'm going to get the bets on, maybe just take a break and then get back to them. But otherwise, I'm just so much into footy media. Other than the games, like once the game's gone on the weekend, I'll listen, watch, consume so much footy stuff. Anyway, Tom Papley, I would have thought you were crazy betting on him, but his last month and a half, he's only missed once, and that was 14 posies. He has been in great form recently. So yes, I know the form guide is 6 out of 10, but his last 5 he has hit, and he's versing North Melbourne at Sydney. I think the ball will be in Sydney's forward line a lot. I think Papley will just be, looking for a bag. I reckon he'll get a bunch of touches. I like Papley as like a risky pick, and I hate the double negatives. I can't leave Cherry there. Like $1.50, 9 out of 10. His form has been amazing for Ruckman. Yes, I know he's going against Brodie Grundy, who gets a lot of the footy. I know it's at SCG against, probably the premiers of this year, but I have to back him there. So this one is a little risky. That's why it's at $3, but we've got the 3 legs. So, if we get the bonus bet out of this, that would be great. But there was just a decent amount of value there. And we have Errol Goulden for 25 because I feel like there's no Isaac Heaney. I feel like Chad Warner. Oh, and Mills is back, but I still feel like Goulden on the wing will just have a field day. I really like Darcy Tucker. I wanted to include him too. So he's 5 out of 6 since his position change. And this might be the last week we can select Darcy Tucker, because when Zach Fisher comes in, presumably next week, I feel like Darcy Tucker might get pushed back out into the wing. I don't know, but this is probably the last week I would highlight Darcy for 20. I really wanted to include him, but Papley and Cherry just beat him to it. And Errol Goulden is just more secure. Like, I couldn't take out Goulden for Tucker. I like Errol Goulden for 25. Chad Warner is actually alright value for 20 posies. Even sometimes those games where he gets tagged, like North don't have a tagger. Oh, sorry, of course they do. What's his name? Will Phillips. Even if he is the one to get tagged, he still gets 20 posies, even if he has to play in the forward line. And same as Goulden. Goulden playing on the wing, he runs so much. Like, I'm not too worried about their taggers there. I mentioned everyone. Justin McInerney, I've had him in my draft league. He's been great. He was kind of a little bit. He's so close to just not touching, but $1.10, averaging 20, 10 out of 10. I like that. Goal scorers, Will Hayward missed last week, who again I like. I would include him. He's a little short. He might get a bit $1.18, $1.20 on game day, hopefully. And Chad Warner, a midfielder who's just consistently kicking goals. In great form. All right, let's move on to the Bulldogs Carlton game. What do we have for this? We have, oh yeah, Riley West, who's been in amazing form for goal kickers. Jack McRae, who I mentioned at the recap video, who his odds are getting actually okay now for 15 plus. We don't want to touch him for 20 anymore, but for 15, he has been very consistent. So yes, his form's dropped off. He's playing in half forward. It's his role change. But now that the price is kind of reflecting his role, he's not that on-baller, you know, contested beast in the mid now. That's not his job. So if we can get him for, he's almost $1.20. If we can get him for $1.17 for that half forward who can help in stoppages, get 15 posies, I like that. Riley Sanders, again, he's only missed one game where he hasn't been subbed. So he is having like a great career. It's just unfortunate that how many sub games he got early. So I like him. Bailey Dale, who almost missed last week, but he came back and had a great second half. So I love a player who can just play well, especially when Doggies didn't play that great either. So all these players from the Doggies hit last week. Riley West, did he still kick a goal in that Port game? Yes, he did. 9 out of 10, averaging 1.3 goals a game. That is great. That is awesome. There's another couple of goal scorers there, 9 out of 10, but, you know, may as well go Riley West when he's $1.38 compared to the rest. West, bit of a accidental rhyme. Adam Treloar, I don't think I've bet on once this year. I don't, he always screams injury to me, but 32, 9 out of, if he gets to like over $1.20 for 25, I'll be tempted. I don't think he will, but, he's versing Carlton's mid, mind you, which is, you know, Cripps, Walsh, Chera, Hewitt's not playing. What's that other guy? Elijah Hollands, or yeah, they're having, yeah, their mid is looking great. Blake Acres missed playing on the wing. He is usually very good for 20, and I like it when he misses, but you know, we've selected others first. Bailey Dale, again, very short odds, but he's averaging 7 more than what I need him to, and his 23 last week was kind of his down game, if you'd like. Wasn't kicking it great either, but yeah, so I really like Bailey Dale there, and that's pretty much it. Again, we're looking at $2.50. Just a reminder, we're looking for $2.50 to $3 odds. I'll keep reiterating that this week, because this week we're trying to minimize risk. That one's kind of quick. I went through that recap. There wasn't too many to pick from. Yes, I feel like Patrick Cripps been in amazing form recently, but and again, Doggies don't have a tagger, so that they would just have Treloar, you know, Bont or Libba. Maybe Richards would come in for a bit, or so Patrick Cripps could have a blinder, but it's $1.20, and yeah, there's other people I'd rather pick first, even though I still feel like he will hit. Let's go to the Saturday night games. We have Adelaide versus St Kilda, which is 7:30. For that one, do we have a bet? Or we do? So again, I bet on as many as I can before I run out of the bonus bets or things. Hunter Clark has only missed once this year after coming back playing just over a month of footy now, I think it is. Fantastic. I know it's at Adelaide Oval. Adelaide struggling, and now they don't have Rankin. Isaac Rankin? I think I'm Rankin. Isaac Rankin. Rowan Marshall, he did have that stint in the forward line. He has been kicking goals, but he is the sole ruckman versus Riley O'Brien, and I feel like Marshall will get a bunch of the footy against the other big O. Mason Wood missed last week by 1 posi for the first time this year. He's been good for 20, but he's just fallen off a little bit playing on the wing there. And look, he missed by 1 posi. I'm going to jump on him for 15 plus there. Luke Nankervis, that is the shortest he's been all year. We have ridden Luke Nankervis most of this year, and I think we're going to have to miss him this week. He's been fantastic. 10 out of 10. He's done everything we want him to, but now he's just too short. And it sucks to see because he's been a great service for some of the multis this year, but yeah, he's under $1.20. Thanks, Nankervis, for the service. You will be missed. But yeah, players like then Hunter Clark, $1.50, who are averaging 17, just missed by 1. Like, this is why we go through this form guide, because, you know, a lot of the bets we do are just based off what people are paying at the moment. Like, yes, I might like Nankervis more, but, you know, his odds are just changing who I'm betting on, or the odds. There's no one for 20 that I like. That's for good value. I don't know what's going on with Jordan Dawson's year, but Jake Saligo has had a very quiet month. Yeah, no one, like Mason Wood again, that's good value there. He has missed his last 2. He could very much bounce back, and for almost $2, averaging 7 out of 10, I like, but we're just again minimizing risk, so we've got him for 15 plus. Adelaide are the favourites. Saints at $2.50 after beating Sydney. That's interesting, I just noticed. Wangani Malira, again, been fantastic. Great pick. Again, I picked him up in draft this year. I selected him in like a later round, and he's like averaging 20 plus more Supercoach points than what he did last year. He's been fantastic. Really like what I saw from him, and just always got my eye on him. Such a great kick. Darcy Fogarty, I think this is the first time I've highlighted the number one, or the main goal scorer, because the main goal scorer is $1.10. Yes, I know St Kilda often have low scoring games, but he's 10 out of 10, averaging over 2 goals a game. I really like that. I was so tempted to include him here to just increase the odds, but we'll just stick to the 3 ball getters for now. Mason Wood, Rowan Marshall, Hunter Clark. I really like those 3. But yeah, I really was tempted to include Darcy Fogarty. Lachlan Scholl, again, I've highlighted. I think I highlighted him last week, but he did miss against Brisbane. I didn't bet on him, but I do love a player who just missed. 8 out of 10. He's been great on the wing, and then also sort of half forwardish this year, which has been fantastic. All right, we have one more Saturday night's game, Essendon and Melbourne. All right, so this is the one I haven't bet on yet because we're waiting for what happens before. But straight on into the bet, Neil Bullen. Again, amazing all year and still like over $1.20. You just have to take that. Trent Rivers playing more in the midfield. So yes, it says he's 7 out of 10 here, but you know, he is going to, his last month and a half, fantastic. No Petrarca. Oliver is a shell of himself. I had a bet my personal bet from last week, I stupidly included Oliver. He's been for 20. I thought that was so easy for Oliver. Oh, he is so out of form, it's crazy. Trent Rivers is not though. He is in a great patch at the moment, so I like him. Goal scorer is interesting. I have Harrison Jones. So it's at the G. Essendon are favourites. I feel like they'll do pretty well. And I know Harrison Jones has been playing a bit on the wing recently, but you also have Nick Cox, Xavier Dersma, Archie Perkins. You have other players that can rotate through the wing position, and Harrison Jones, I strongly think he will play forward for a bit. I really like that, and I'll show you why, because his odds, $2.05 for a goal. 6 out of 10, so again, it's not everything we'd want to see. He kicked a goal last week. He has, he's 50% in his last month, but for $2, I really like that for Harrison Jones. Whether I go with this bet on game day, game night, like I could swap Harrison Jones out for like Ed Langdon. I do like Gresham. He's been very consistent. Again, that small range, either 13 or 18 posies. I do like Gresham. You could take Harrison Jones out for Gresham. I would probably also advise that. If it would be Neil Bullen, Rivers, Jade Gresham. I think Gresham will have a good game as well against a kind of depleted Melbourne at the moment. Yeah, there's not many people for 25. Yeah, Zach Merritt, I think, will have a good one, but it's for $1.20. Clayton Oliver, if you want to throw your money away, God, he's in such bad form. Nick Martin, might not be that player getting 25 every week that he was in the first bit of the year. So, yeah, ever since like Ridley, Redmond, McGrath, they're all playing in the back line together. Nick Martin obviously isn't playing there anymore, but still half forward. Even though he runs a lot, it's hard for 25 posies. Yeah, not much to select from this game, unfortunately. Matt Guelphy, 8 out of 10, 1.5 goals a game. There's a couple of Melbourne goal scorers there, but a bit too short. Again, it's hard for that one. That's why having some play there who's $2, I'm very tempted by that. But again, I would swap out Harrison Jones for Jade Gresham if you don't like that one. All right, moving on to Sunday, Gold Coast versus Port. Wonder if Gold Coast will win because it's at home. What do we have? We have Jackson Mead, who is kind of flown under the radar. I was like, who is this? And then I saw his photo on Google and I'm like, oh, I recognize him. And I didn't realize how his form of late. 8 out of 10, averaging like 17 posies a game. Even in the game Brisbane versus Port, where Brisbane smacked Port, he still got 15. And I love that. I love a player who can, even still in a side that's getting pummeled, can still play well. And when Port smacked the Doggies, he still hit. Like, I love that. So he's actually someone who has flown under my radar, but because of the form guide, I've picked him up, had a look, seen his stats, seen where he's getting it. He's getting it mostly sort of half-back area. I like that. I'm getting on Jackson Mead. Willem Drew, I said at the start of the video, if he's over $1.25, always, even $1.20, even $1.15. I really like Willem Drew. And if he has a miss, you can forgive him. Been super consistent all year. Dan Houston, who I've highlighted, who I'm actually jumping on in my bets, even though he's missed the last 2. I bet on him last week. I love a player who misses. Unfortunately, didn't hit. I obviously Dan Houston's still a great player. The way, I don't know if you guys saw that Bulldogs Port game. The commentators were frothing every time he got the footy. When Finlayson just said, like, over here, like just a little sneaky thing with the hand, and then Dan Houston, a dart from like the back pocket into the center square. Dan Houston is an amazing kick. They want it in his hand. He just hadn't got as much. I mean, yes, Port won by a lot. The ball's not in the back line as much. So I still like Dan Houston. And yeah, that's our 3 legs already. No one really for 25. Sam Flanders, been a beast, but obviously too short. Noah Anderson, look, I don't mind. He is a bit inconsistent. There's no Took Miller, so, you know, I still... just not enough to highlight. Not enough that I'd bet on. The people I highlight are the people I'd bet on. So it's like, he's not quite someone I'd bet on. Connor Rosé is back in great form, but again, I just want to see a bit more of it first. Even though his last couple of games have been fantastic. Goal scorers, Charlie Dixon is back, so I kind of like Marshall, and he's missed his last 2. But yeah, Ollie Lord just for that better value. The thing is, Ollie Lord, I don't know. I hope he doesn't get subbed or something, but yeah, I like Ollie Lord, Ben Ainsworth. Ben Ainsworth, again, it's at Gold Coast home, so you'd think Gold Coast will play really well. Ben Ainsworth, who I've liked as well for 15 posies, but just, it's like the Tom Sparrow. He's someone who says he's in good form, like 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, but I always get him on his off week, but he's been a decent goal scorer. But I haven't included any goal scorers for that one. Nice and easy, $2.42. We're almost at the $2.50. I don't want to throw in something else that I'm not that keen on just to get it over the line. Alex Sexton, who fucked me last week, maybe. I don't think I would. I'm happy with that 3 leg, even though it's not quite the $2.50. It's pretty close. Second last game of the week, Richmond GWS. Let's see what we have here. Richmond GWS. I've gone Perryman, who missed, Toby Green, who missed, Daniel Rioli, and Brett Daniels, who've both been in great form. Brett Daniels obviously had that blinder last week, who is just popping off 10 out of 10, and he's still over $1.20. Great value. And again, I said in the start of the video, Harry Perryman missed, but he was everywhere I wanted him to be. So he was always screaming for the ball, the short kicks, the handball receives. Just didn't get it. So I still like what I saw. Toby Green just missed too, and I know GWS won. The funny thing is, like, I watch all these games and then I don't sort of realize, like, oh, Toby Green just missed. I don't think I bet on him last week, so my eye is not on him. Like, my eye was on Sard a lot, or Harry Perryman. So sometimes, even though I'm watching the full game, it might slip, but Toby Green has showed enough when I have watched that I would like to back him, even if he does just miss. Shai Bolton, 9 out of 10. Again, it is against GWS, who have a stacked midfield, unlike no Kelly, but it is hard to include someone, you know, from, 18th spot versus Giants who are pushing for finals against their stacked midfield. So I've highlighted, like, I would bet on him, but there's other options first. And Jack Graham, he just continues to go on. One of our first green and greens, maybe for like the whole week. He always looks like a busted ass. Always looks like he's about to get injured, but he just gets the footy. So again, I would bet on him, but I've selected people who I think are a bit more safe. Daniel Rioli, he actually kind of runs like I always have a bit of injury concern about Rioli as well, but the way he'll sprint and get the footy, he'll get a couple of cheap kicks, handballs. Not cheap, he makes an option. He does a lot of work, so I like Daniel Rioli. Harry Himmelberg, I've highlighted, small range, but I kind of want someone who's averaging just a little bit more kicks, and I think it's going to be in Richmond's backline a lot. Tom Green, Lockie Whitfield, they've been getting so much of the footy. Lockie Whitfield's 2 misses were the games where he got tagged probably like a month plus, 2 months ago now, so you don't really have to worry about it. But will the ball be, I don't know, will Richmond kick enough points for Lockie? Lockie Whitfield gets most of his kicks, most of his posies from kickouts. You know what, I might unselect Lockie Whitfield. I've kind of de-convinced myself, whatever. Lockie Whitfield relies a lot on kickouts. He does push up, halfback, middle of the ground, looks for entries inside, but a player like that who gets like 5, 8, 10 to 12 posies just from kickouts, let's maybe just not against Richmond. Goal kickers, I like Jake Riccardi. He's been good value. Aaron Cadman missed. If I was to include one, I'd probably toss up between... Oh, it's hard because Aaron Cadman did miss, but Jake Riccardi's averaging like, half a goal more, so which is huge. Obviously, all the Giants boys are up here. I do like Cumberland. Again, not enough to highlight, but not against GWS. So not many goal kickers there that I really like. I feel like GWS, could win by like 40 points or something. So I would much rather back either Riccardi or Cadman. All right, last game of the round. What do we have? Eagles, Brisbane. Oh, dude, I'm low-key nervous for this. You guys know I'm a Brisbane fan. Of course, they fucking sack Simo right before we play him. West Coast were 16th. We were $5. I don't know what their line is, but I'd be almost tempted to back their line. I feel like Brisbane are in good form. Hopefully they don't rock up with their foot off the accelerator and just get fucking... like a milestone game, or as soon as the team sacks the coach, there's always like a response the next week. I'm really worried about that. Anyway, enough with the game. Let's go look through my bet for that one. So we have included Darcy Wilmot, who has been great for 15 all year. I think like the one game he missed where he played a little bit of midfield in the GWS game early this year. That was odd. And I can't remember his second one. He's been great. I would go in for 20, but I really like him for 20. Even though it's against West Coast, who I think will play well, they don't like have that sort of small forward. They have Waterman. The problem was Darcy Wilmot was on Isaac Rankine for half that game, but I still like him for 15. Witherden, who I said usually bounces back after a miss, tempted to include him. There's going to be no McGovern. Does he need McGovern's help to get posies? I don't know. I probably haven't watched that as much West Coast games this year as I should. Con McKenna pops it from Lions fans how inaccurate he kicks it, but I mean, he kicks it and gets the footy anyway, and from a punting point of view, that's all I care about. Harley Reid's been fantastic. Joe Danaher, again, he got 2 posies in like the last minute of the game last week, and his last posie he just kicked before the siren. He was wasting clock. I'm like, just kick it. He did, so he got 15. I feel like he'll play better against West Coast. He's been just a little... He didn't kick a goal as well last week. So, but again, I still love Joe for 15 this year. He's almost been like our Mark Blitzavs of last year, who only missed a couple times. Not the same odds, but Joe Danaher has been great. And we were onto him early this year. Hugh McCluggage missed. I really want to back... Like, I do like McCluggage, but I would rather back like Josh Dunkley or Lachie Neale. I feel like Josh Dunkley would go to like $1.40 on game day. But for the meantime, I've highlighted Lachie Neale because of his price and, you know, his late run for the Brownlow, so I like him. But for goal scorers, Kai Lohmann, not as good value as like a Riley West or a Brad Close, but he's there. And again, you'd assume Brisbane win this sort of pretty comfortably, and there's been times where Kai Lohmann has kicked great ones from the boundary, or he's a good mark, but he's also got cheap ones too. There's plenty of opportunities where he will have a scoring shot. Jake Waterman as well, he's just been fantastic this year. Great year for him. So 10 out of 10, averaging over 3 goals a game. What the fuck? Even for $1.10, that's still good value. Like, it's crazy. I've included Kai Lohmann, and that's my bet for this round. But yeah, we've gone through all the games this week. Hopefully we can turn it around because, dude, we're below $1,000. We do so much right all year to get over $1,000. Super annoying. And reminder, we're aiming for around $2.50. Yes, we have to win 1 extra game per week, but I would much rather try and reduce our odds. It helps me, like, just in all my bets, not include that 1 extra leg to just get me over the line. And I feel we're just going to help minimize risk. We don't need that many players. We're trying to aim for more secure players and stuff this year, or this week, sorry. And I'm confident we can win 4 out of 9. And again, remember, that only has to be like 3 and a bonus bet, or 4 and a bonus bet, and we're positive. So I'm really liking. We're going to try this week $2.50. If it's just as bad, we may as well go back to $3. But yeah, it's just really unfortunate because this time last year, this was like where I made a decent bit of money. Like the first month of footy is always shit. You always kind of lose money. That it's the dog's breakfast. After that, we had our great run, and it's just kind of annoying we've hit a bit of a hump. So 2 weeks in a row, we've gone negative. Hopefully it doesn't discourage or worry you guys too much, because sometimes just that's how it is in betting. Even this time last year where I did pretty well, I've still had weeks where I would go negative, but hopefully this is where we turn it around. So thanks again, guys, for being here. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the messages in the Discord, everything. I really appreciate the feedback, because again, dude, when I do this and do these recommendations and lose money, I feel shit. I don't want you guys to lose money. I don't want to lose money. If losing money here, I'm losing money in my own account. So again, I appreciate all the support, because sometimes you find the best value, the best players, you think about it, and then they just don't hit. There's only so much you can do. So again, all the support means a lot. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll catch you guys again next week to go through round 19. We're getting close to the end of the year. All right, until then, see you guys. Peace.